Good morning, my friends. Welcome to this episode of Heal Your Codependency. I'm Marshall Berkshire, and I'm your guide in becoming who you are so you can have the purpose, joy, and relationships you want in your life. Today, we're going to talk about fear. I'm going to share some of the insights and discoveries I've been making about fear lately as I've been navigating and wrestling with and caring for my own fear. Because in my work, fear is actually a signal of a need, specifically safety, but safety in something specific for us. So in this perspective, fear is an ally. It's trying to guide us to understand and see where there is what I call entanglement in our world. So what's an entanglement? In codependency, we have a habit of enmeshing or blending ourselves with other people. We blend with their emotions, we blend with their approval, we blend with their perspectives, with their personality, and we blend with their power. And in this act of blending, we are attempting to find some sense of safety, some sense of connection or belonging, and some sense of value or being useful to this person. Deeply, we're trying to protect our sense of connection and belonging with them. It's an attachment-oriented experience here. So in codependency, we feel a huge deficit in our sense of safety. Safety in being ourselves. Safety in choosing ourselves. Safety in being chosen and known by others. And that lack of safety, that deficit there, makes connection and belonging feel very fragile, very conditional, unstable, and unreliable for us. And then internally, we wonder if we're worth it. So our sense of self is mired in this constant conflict of, am I valuable? Am I worth it? Will I be loved? Then we turn to transactional means of trying to get this sense of value, to get this, to stabilize the sense of belonging, and to bring more safety to ourselves. We do that through people pleasing. We do it through perfectionism. We do it by ignoring those conflicts and problems, brushing those under the rug. We do it by shaping and pruning ourselves to the expectations of others. Fear is driving all of these behaviors, and the fear is, I won't be loved. I won't be known. I won't be safe. I won't be nurtured. I won't be valued. And so when fear speaks up within us, it's pointing to a need for acceptance, a need for belonging, a need for connection, a need for protection, shelter. It might be pointing us towards our big desires and saying, I fear we won't get that if we don't do this. Or I fear if I get that, I will lose this. So in this way, fear is trying to help us understand where our sense of safety, our sense of connection and belonging, and our sense of self-worth is entangled with an external factor, some other condition. Now, sometimes those factors are also internal too. I can have my own judgments about myself. Like, I'm not lovable unless I have this particular outcome. I'm not going to accept myself unless I have this particular kind of condition in my world. We do that a lot with how we look, with how much money we make, what we do for a job, what kind of status we have or achievements we have in our world, or how we're doing in a particular role. We have these conditions that we apply to our sense of worth, that we apply to our lovability, and our willingness to receive and be ourselves. So our fear is pointing to this entanglement. So an example of this entanglement would be like person A, their worth is really tied up in their mother's approval. And then person A discovers that they have a difference of perspective, opinion, and desire than their mother does about a certain thing. And then the fear starts to talk. The fear starts to speak up and say, what happens if we say this or we disagree with mom? Will she take her love away? What does that mean about me? Person A starts to feel that collapse of their value. They feel like their value, their worth is jeopardized because it's entangled with the approval of person A's mother. This is where a lot of our fear comes from. It's from this entanglement. And this entanglement creates a dependency on that external factor in order for us to have what we're seeking. So in this untangling effort, what we do is we look at what it's tangled up with, and then second, we start to legitimize the entanglement. Well, of course I need my mom's approval. I love her. I cherish our connection. I feel like I rely on her support and her approval to feel confident enough to go out into the world and be myself. And I'm scared of what would happen if that wasn't there. This legitimization of the entanglement allows us to apply care and warmth and love to what's going on for us. Because these entanglements are not random. These are entanglements were created to help us survive. They were means to our own survival, to our own sense of safety, belonging, and self-worth. It comes back to those three necessities, though. So we legitimize. And what this tends to do over time is it softens up the entanglement. Our resistance to untangling it becomes less and less, and that allows it to expand. And in this expansion, we can explore who we are beyond that entanglement, maybe just a little bit. And that usually starts with a question like this: what shifts if I untangle my worth from my mother's approval just a little bit, just for now? Then we slow down and we pause, we acknowledge, we observe what starts to show up in our awareness, what our body starts to do in response to that, what other things start to come into our mind, what we start to understand, what shifts, what changes for us. This is how we gently start to untangle ourselves from these other factors and discover who we are. And then we can make a choice here. We can say, oh, I'm discovering that I can be this way. I'm going to become that. I'm going to commit to that. I'm going to explore it more. Or we can stay tangled up and go in a different direction. There might be something else that arises. And we're like, I'm going to go chase that and see what that does. This is how we use fear to assist us in discovering who we are and becoming who we are and freeing ourselves from these entanglements. And instead, when we're free from those entanglements, we can create connection, we can create understanding, we can create belonging. That allows us to live as who we are and allows others to be who they are, and no one has to change. Instead, we get to accept who people are. We get to accept how they respond to us, because we don't get to control if they accept us or not. And then we make the best choices we can for ourselves based on what's showing up right now for us. This is how we work with fear. This is how it's our ally. This is how we become empowered. This is where we find that deeper peace, that deeper freedom, that deeper love for ourselves in our world. So if you're looking for assistance in this, you want structure in this, you want guidance in this, you need to get the foundation trainings first, because that sets you up for this whole process of becoming who you are after codependency, by helping you learn how to soothe your emotions, soothe your pain, become free of shame and guilt, and then help empower and connect to your sense of worth, your sense of self-trust, your sense of identity, as well as expand you into your own well-being, your own power, and your own individuality. We start those in January 22nd, 2024. So we got a little time on that. But you can get in for 50% off right now with the Black Friday sale that's going on. I call it the 2024 Freedom After Codependency promotion. Link is in the comment below. If you're watching on Facebook, it's in the description below on YouTube and in the podcast description if you're listening via the podcast. It's also on my website at healyourcodependency.com. And I'll be open until November 30th. As well as the Everything Forever program is open for enrollment. So this is the last time it's open in 2023 for that. Next time will be May of 2024, and the price will be different then. It changes every year because I add more. And you can also get some really cool course bundles for really less money than you'd spend otherwise, right? My friends, thank you for sharing this episode with me. Let me know your thoughts below. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button as well. And hit that like button. And if you're watching on Facebook, comment below as well. If you're listening on the podcast, come join us in the email list. The link is below there. And get access to more guidance, tools, and support in becoming who you are after codependency. Okay, my friends, go gently. And I will see you in our next episode. Bye-bye. So thank you for watching this episode. And you want more episodes like this, check out the recommended video above. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're ready to take the leap and heal your codependency, check out my workshop linked below on how to heal codependency permanently. Then you can understand how I help you restore safety, connection, and worth in your life and how that liberates you from your codependency and empowers you in creating the relationships, the satisfaction, fulfillment you want in your life. So check that out below. Thank you again for showing up, guys. Bye-bye.